It is Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017. It is 8 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. So you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And of course, we do have some newer music, at least newer for us, in the old coffer that we can put forward and whatnot today. But I did do a little bit of planning, just a teeny tiny. Nothing too dramatic, and certainly nothing too complicated. We're going to be covering a little bit of Lightning Network today, of course, and I came up with a couple other little articles here that I wanted to touch on because California is yet again reproposing L-bit license. Kashit license is going to rear its ugly turtle head yet a third time. Maybe this time we'll actually get it out into the bowl and flush it like the turd it is. But in any case, we want to go ahead and get into some music, of course. And, I do have new stuff. So, obviously, we're going to at least touch on some new stuff today. And, I've never played this song, and I've only played this song on a LP or off of an actual wax record about, I don't know how many decades ago, at least 2, maybe 3. Anyway, this one is by Venom, Manitou, for our first dance here on Coin Metal.
Infernal wastelands, many miles of sunburned hell. Tribes of scattered limbs and dust are laying as they fail. Open lies the challenge to all warriors now men. Let the spirits guide the winds till Manitou ascends. Eclipse the blazing skies. Face the wings of death, but Manitou the soul shall buy. Distant beats the war dance, echo screams out liberty. Patience stalks the crow, a white man's scalp reaps victory.
the only thing that slowly stops the ache. But it's made of all the things I have to take. Jesus never ends, it works its way inside. If the pain goes on, I've waited as my time's elapsed. Now all I do is live with so much fate. I've wished for this, I've bitched at that. I've left behind this little fact: you cannot kill what you did not create. I've gotta say what I've gotta say, and then I swear I'll go away. But I can't promise you'll enjoy the noise. I guess I'll save the best for last. My future seems like one big past. You're left with me cause you left me no choice. I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops me. If the pain goes on, I'm not gonna make it. Put me back together, or separate the skin from bone. Leave me all the pieces, then you can leave me alone. Tell me the reality is better than the dream, but I found out the hard way. Nothing is what it seems. I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops me. But it's made of all the things I have to take. Jesus never ends, it works its way inside. If the pain goes on, I'm not gonna make it. All I've got is insane. 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 I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops me. But it's made of all the things I have to take. Jesus never ends, it works its way inside. If the pain goes on, I'm not gonna make it. All I've got is insane. All I've got is insane. All I've got is insane. All I've got is insane.
And that was Duality. My apologies on there. Let it run just a teeny tiny too long. Oy. Well, it was a very, very productive get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Wednesday. I certainly got my ass kicked today. No doubt about it. Although I've got to say I felt kind of proud of myself today because I rolled with a purple belt and he was unable to submit me. Although I don't know that was entirely his goal. Although I'm sure if he really wanted to, he could probably have just like flipped me over and submitted me, no problem. But you know, we like to hold the fantasy in our minds that we're actually better than we are. You know, I try and keep it humble. You know, I really do, because I'm not very good. I'm not one of these guys that, I've taken a couple classes and now I want to just, go out and roll with people. I don't want to roll with people. Fuck that. I'm not learning it so I can go and be a badass. I'm learning it so that I can avoid situations where I have to be a badass. You see how that works? I mean, I guess that's probably the clearest way to put it, because the rest of it is so kind of, I want to say, esoteric or hidden. I mean, it's like I was saying last time around about Bitcoin not being an anarchist tool. It's just like apolitical, and that's how I look at cryptocurrencies and also jiu-jitsu. Is that it's not there to make me into like a badass or anything. It's just, again, it eliminates the need to, I'll give you an example. I went into a bar relatively recently, a few months ago, and I wanted to go and play pool. And it was evening, it was Friday, and so I'm out there, I'm shooting pool, and this guy bumped into me. He was like slobberingly drunk, and he looked back at me like he had an attitude for just a moment, and then he saw that I wasn't flipping an attitude. I was just like, yeah, whatever, and then he apologized to me. Now if I were a less secure individual, if I was afraid that a confrontation with this guy, or if I showed any kind of real outward reaction of fear, I think that situation would have went differently. I think he would have taken it as an encouragement to try and incite something with me, and that situation would have ended way differently. But as it was, he turned and he looked and he saw that I was pretty stoic about it. It was just like, yeah, whatever. He bumped into me. Next. When he saw that, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy doesn't fear shit around him. I'm not going to fuck with him. Chances are I'm probably going to get hurt. And like I said, I'm not a badass or anything, but, I think that I could probably handle myself anyway. I'm actually looking forward to possibly competing in a preliminary, and in which case, if I do, I'll be sure to announce it so that my fans here in the PNW, however few of you there may be, could actually come and cheer me on, or at least watch me get my ass kicked, one of the two. Anyway, so I've got some articles, and this first one here is off of Cointelegraph. Why BitLicense case should not be dismissed. Now, again, I have not read this thing, and it's funny because the person that they drew is like the judge here. He looks strikingly similar to somebody that I know for some reason. I can't exactly place the face. Anyway, let us continue. Come May 4th, the executive director of Bitcoin Foundation does not want Judge Lucy Billings to dismiss the pending case before her between Theo Chino and the New York Department of Financial Services in favor of the NYDFS. Judge Billings should not dismiss the case in favor of the NYDFS on May 4th, 2017, Leo Clausen states in an email about the issue. In this case, Chino sued the NYDFS over 23 NYCRR Part 200, also known as the BitLicense, using a New York civil practice law called Article 78. According to a Bitcoin Foundation statement, Chino and his attorney, Pierre Cyric, are trying to stop the BitLicense regulation in its tracks before it sets a global precedent. They are prepared to pursue the challenge all the way to New York's highest court in what has been envisaged to be a long legal process that may make legal fees stack up quickly. Chino's argument is that the state legislature has the right to define virtual currencies and it shouldn't be the NYDFS. Wait a minute. Has the right to define virtual currencies and it shouldn't be the NYDFS. He alleged that the agency acted illegally and arbitrarily and exceeded its regulatory power when it promulgated its controversial virtual currency regulation in 2015. Part 200 of Chapter 1 of Title 23 of the New York Code's Rules and Regulations. Clausen explains. On March 16, 2017, Chino first appeared in front of Judge Lucy Billings for a hearing into the matter. The judge did not dismiss the case as was requested by the New York Department of Financial Services and instead wanted to hear all factual and legal issues raised by Chino and rescheduled oral arguments on all issues for May 2017. This is not a frivolous matter and is being taken seriously by the presiding judge. The Foundation has always maintained that the BitLicense regulation is poorly conceived and has destroyed Bitcoin innovation in New York since it was first introduced in June of 2015. It is bent on seeing that regulators around the United States and the world do not start modeling their Bitcoin regulations on the New York example, hence its support for Chino's move. Sirik contends that the uncertainty around Bitcoin's exact nature is widespread around the country, which significantly weakens NYDFS's argument that it has a clear legislative mandate to regulate. Additionally, Sirik believes that the process used by NYDFS to regulate and the heavy-handed approach in drafting the regulation are important grounds to justify that the BitLicense is arbitrary and capricious, which is the term used to challenge a regulation. You know what? I have used those exact two words with regard to BitLicense. I hope that these people are reading the stuff that I've posted about Bitcoin, BitLicense, because yes, BitLicense is wholly arbitrary and capricious. I mean, they didn't even that kind of thing. You take it to the state Congress. You know, you take it through the state legislature. You don't just let the NYDFS wave a magic wand and say, "Hey, we can draft law. We can craft regulations now. Fuck you." No, they make recommendations. They don't define shit, or at least that shouldn't be part of their mandate. That's something that should be left wholly to the legislature itself. And that whole thing was just a big clusterfuck. Lasky, I could swear he had some sort of involvement with like Goldman Sachs or some other fucking place that, 30 years ago, that alone, that involvement on its face would have disqualified him as a conflict of interest. But, we have gotten a little bit fast and loose with what we consider a conflict of interest these days. But anyway, that butthole, he makes this fucking legislation, and then, like, between 4 to 6 months after he gets it enacted in New York, he bails, and he starts acting as a lobbyist, talking to, banks and state legislatures concerning how to deal with this legislation. A bunch of fucking bullshit. In any case, the reason why I really wanted to touch back into this is because BitLicense is really, really bad. But just as bad is California shit license. And that one's a little more damaging because California has Silicon Valley. And so it's a center of development for software and hardware. And so that if they were to get Cachette license passed, that would put a stranglehold on crypto development within California. I think that they're going to be shifting very, very soon with regard to their ideals with regard to just taxing everything that doesn't move fast enough. They're going to change their attitude, and it's going to happen because of cannabis. See, they recently legalized for retail sales. They've been legal for medical sales for a while now, but it's recently shifted to where they're now legal for retail sales. And I've been watching this whole thing play out in Oregon and also in Washington a little bit. And there's this really fine balance that they have to work out, and they have yet to manage it perfectly yet. But they have to work out this balance between supply and the ability of suppliers to comply with their regulations, basically. And in Oregon and Washington, they've been very, very heavy-handed with regard to the taxation. Not quite as bad as Colorado, but still in the not good range. They haven't gotten to the good part yet. The good part will be when they don't require any kind of licensure from the people that are supplying, and that the only thing they'll give a shit about is your income taxes. When they can get to that attitude, and maybe drafting some sort of legislation to where the dispensaries have to eat the cost for processing and testing and whatnot, that would probably be a really good move, because then it takes those stresses off of the supplier. But of course, that would also put the responsibility in the hands of the dispensary with regard to the quality of the product that they actually let on their shelves. But if they were doing the testing, it would be additionally in their interest to do very hard diligence with regard to what they allow onto their shelves. But in any case, like I was saying, this balance, they haven't worked it out yet. And when they figure out that they're missing out on like 70% of the cannabis that's available, and that's a rough estimate based on what things I've observed, that there's a great deal more cannabis consumption than there's going to ever be taxes to account for. And it won't matter if they make it all illegal again, because the shit was just like that yesterday. All it'll do is make the shit on the street more expensive, and that'll bring the Mexican drug cartels back in and all that other business. But I think those guys will have a lot harder time dealing with it, only because on the other side of it, you'll end up with like Monsanto and GW Pharmaceuticals and all these other guys producing cannabis and getting it sold through the dispensary system. And then they'll probably go a little more lax on regulation. But it's all a balance. And at this point, it seems like the end goal is to, again, get growers back out of it. People like me, as far as, the size of the grow and whatnot. I mean, and I'm not a big grower. I'm going to be growing 6 plants. I mean, it's not very many plants. There are certainly much bigger growers out there. But again, there's so much of the market and so much of the really high quality market that it's not coming into the retail, the quote unquote legitimate retail space. And I really think that we're going to need another 20 years of this relaxation on drug laws in this country before we really get mature about it and get back down to just decriminalizing and normalizing everything. I mean, really, we've noticed with just cannabis being legalized that there everywhere it has been legalized for retail, we've seen a precipitous drop in several things. Domestic violence. The rates of domestic violence are down in Oregon. Unemployment is down in Oregon. Can you hear that? Unemployment is down. Traffic accidents are down. Incidents of violence between individuals is down. Rates of alcoholism is down. Deaths from overdoses from heroin and other opiates, down. I mean, and this is just cannabis being legalized. Now, what if it were normalized? We'd probably see a lot lower rates of abuse in cannabis too. I mean, because I've seen some guys out there ever since legalization, they've gone kind of abusive on their use. I mean, it's not hard to make that jump, and you just need a green flag and could be off to the races if you have too much time on your hands. But it's all an evolution. I would like it all to change tomorrow, but these things take time. We make mistakes so that we can learn from them. If we don't make mistakes, we don't learn shit. I mean, you can try and learn from other people's mistakes, but a lot of times we miss context, and that hurts us in the end. And it looks like there's been yet another hack. This one's on Bitcoin.com. Hacked South Korean Bitcoin exchange Yapazon offers IOUs. Let's see what this is all about. This past week, a South Korean Bitcoin exchange called Yapazon was hacked for 3,816 Bitcoin, or roughly $5.3 million US dollars worth of Bitcoins on Saturday, April 22nd. The exchange has made a statement concerning the hack and plans to offer an IOU token to its customer base to cover losses. Why not? It worked for Bitfinex, right? 3816 BTC stolen from Korean Bitcoin exchange. According to the Bitcoin exchange Yapazon, 4 of the company's hot wallets were compromised on April 22nd between 2 and 3 in the morning. Yapazon says roughly 36% of funds were stolen, and they have filed a complaint with the Cyber Investigation Division of Seoul, the local police. After the hack, Yapazon says they have spoken with their legal team and have decided to split the loss among its customer base. After many discussions, legal and accounting consultations and reviews, we have come to the conclusion that it should be applied fairly to all members, explains the Yapazon exchange. It is also the most common way to go through the liquidation process. The trading platform details that they are not spreading losses to KRW accounts, but only virtual holdings including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Yapazon says executives and the CEO have relinquished property rights to resolve the case and will be paying its members with a token called FI, or FEI. F-E-I. Furthermore, the Korean exchange says they will also provide customers the opportunity to trade FEI into shares of Yapazon's Yahoo Japan stock. A Bitfinex precedent. After hearing the news, many Bitcoin proponents were dismayed to hear the exchange was using the same IOU method Bitfinex used this past summer. According to Bitfinex, the company has reimbursed all of the losses from the breach in August. However, many Bitcoiners commenting on the Yapazon issue say that Bitfinex has created a dangerous standard for hacked exchanges. Even the Korean exchange details that Bitfinex had set a precedent for their decision. There is a precedent, details Yapazon's theft announcement. The largest Bitcoin trading company in the world, known as Bitfinex in Hong Kong, was hacked in August of 2016 and suffered a loss of 120,000 Bitcoins, about 22 billion won. And its assets were down by about 36%. After temporarily issuing coupons equivalent to the amount of the damage to members, it has become a bigger company now, and it has removed the loss by repurchasing the coupon from its members every month. Fei distribution process time frame not disclosed. The exchange is a relatively small trading platform amongst larger exchanges in the South Korean region like Bithumb, Corbit, and Coin1. Yapazon doesn't detail any more information about the incident, and the exchange does not seem to be operational. The Korean company does give details on the Fei distribution process, but does not disclose when that will happen. We are sorry to have caused an economic loss to you, Yapazon adds. We will do our utmost to maximize profits for our members by minimizing the loss and increasing the price of Fei through the growth of our company and growing our shareholder value. Yeah, whatever. And that was by Jamie Redmond. Jamie, just one little glitch in there. You should have taken the S off of that one word, but yeah. I don't know. One of these days, these fuckers are gonna figure out not to keep as much money as they do in their hot wallets. That it's like the shit just keeps happening. You know, that's one thing I keep saying that Andreas Antonopoulos covered, that if you give people your money, they're going to try and steal it. You know, and this is just another unfortunate case of that. As a matter of fact, I would argue that it was probably the exchange itself. You know, they probably did too much coke and, you know, too much alcohol and too many hookers, and, you know, these things add up after a while. Anyway, that's... I don't know what to say about that. I mean, we see exchanges crash, or we see them get hacked, and, you know, it was pretty much predicted that that's what would happen, you know. And I think that more and more we're going to see this used as a proof that decentralized exchanges are really the way to go. You know, exchanges like Shapeshift and BitSquare, or whatever the fuck they call themselves these days, that's going to turn out to be the prevalent, or least hackable, at least, type of exchange out there. Now, we may see some issues with regard to transaction interception and whatnot, but I don't know. I would think that that's something that people would address as far as, like, malware applications, or anti-malware, rather. But, you know, we've seen other things like that, like the, what do you call it, that fucking ransomware shit. You know, now, how long has it been that they've been in circulation? About maybe 6 to 8 months. You know, as far as Bitcoin related ransomware. And you hardly hear about it anymore. It's not that they don't happen, but they certainly happen to lower profile individuals, or just not as frequently. And again, these are things that we're just going to go through. It's part of the evolution, you know, and no amount of legislation is going to protect you from it. No federal regulatory body is going to protect you. You know, there are plenty federal regulatory bodies for investigating crimes and finding the responsible parties, but for some stupid reason they don't seem to want to use the tools that are readily available in Bitcoin, things like the blockchain and transaction IDs. I mean, shit. No, let's go ahead and fuck that whole thing up with lightning nodes and and fucking segregated witness to where, you know, you run it through a payment channel and you can't tell where the fucking funds are anymore because it's bouncing back and forth between the nodes on the payment channel. It's fucking stuff. People just don't think about this shit far enough through. I mean, there's another fucking coin, Verticoin. They are bragging now because they've gone segregated witness. You know, I did a little bit of investigation on some of these altcoins that have gone segregated witness, and it will not surprise me if in digging deeper about that, I find that developers for those coins are getting large sums of money from either VCs or banks or, you know, some angel group or whatever that's related to, like Goldman Sachs or somebody else. And that's what's ultimately motivating them to do these, to make this decision. You know, like Verticoin, you know, I don't know that they had enough transaction volume on their network normally to justify going to segregated witness. I mean, one of the big allures of segregated witness is it's going to open up block space so you can add more transactions to the block, and you can add a whole bunch of more transactions. Wonderful, right? Well, if your network isn't getting taxed as is, what's the fucking point? I think it's related all to the fact that when you start into segregated witness and you listen to the proponents of it, you'll hear them talking about cross-chain payments. You know, making payments from one coin on another chain, and that sounds very interesting and whatnot. But I think that's a good way to end up wrecked, because I think eventually they'll manage to tweak around the qualifiers for transactions to the point where an Ethereum token could be interpreted on the Bitcoin blockchain as a valid volume of Bitcoin. And once it gets that far, and, you know, I could be talking out my ass on that one, you know, and I could be talking about my ass on all of this stuff, for crying out loud. But once that happens, that's the beginning of the GR Bufu. Basically, the whole idea behind the GR Bufu is to change the underlying asset without anybody knowing, and then hyperinflating the fucking volume of it, and then collapsing the global economy, taking out both fiat and crypto at the same time. I think that's why there's this big push to get segregated witness done on all of the coins out there. You know, there's this big push to get it on Litecoin. Does Litecoin have a real need for segregated witness and Lightning networks? I don't think so. Gridcoin. Interesting thing on Gridcoin. I started investigating their hard fork, because they did a hard fork. And one of them actually directed me to a chart that showed the different algorithms that were being used on their the different versions of Gridcoin that were being mined. And like, you look at this chart, and up until about midway through April, it looked like there was like 4 or 5 different variants running. And I'm talking to these guys, and I'm just mining for just general information. You know, I'm not looking for anything really salacious or anything like that. I just want to know exactly what went on. You know, I'm hearing that they had a hard fork in some quadrants, but from other quadrants, I hear that it's completely fine, but there's no really big articles coming out concerning the success or failure or the status or whatever of Gridcoin's hard fork. So I went to the source. I went to their IRC chat room, and I started talking to them, and one of the guys was saying that some of the miners were broadcasting bad blocks, or a significant portion of the network was broadcasting bad blocks. And I'm like, when you say bad blocks, do you mean older versions of the currency, or spam or something like that? And he basically, he or she, I don't know, it was an RC, basically said it was the same thing. And that's not true. It's not true at all. They're competing with you for being the dominant version. So basically, they blocked out all of the other versions. They did a top-down decision and said only this version of Gridcoin is going to be accepted on the network. If you're not mining these blocks, we're going to kick your blocks, we're going to orphan your blocks, and you can go fuck yourself. Now, see, this is entirely against the ethos of every fucking cryptocurrency out there, and this is a detail that a lot of people seem to be forgetting. They just like, oh, it's mandatory. No, it's not mandatory shit. You remember Ethereum and Ethereum Classic? Why did Ethereum Classic start? It was because a significant portion of the miners said, no, baby, code is law. You fucked up. You didn't test this fucking thing enough. You left that fucking glitch in there. You let it out into the wild, and you suffer the fucking consequences. Leave history as is. Let us learn from it instead of perpetuating the same fucking mistake later on, when it can cost us a lot more fucking money. So, again, this whole idea that mandatory my ass, go fuck yourself. If a significant portion of your fucking network doesn't want to go SegWit, they will go and they will create their own fucking coin. And they will fork with you. And it won't matter if you want to orphan their blocks anymore, because they will switch over to another mining pool. They will hash their own shit and they will fork off from you. They will go back to the exchanges and then they will say, hey, this is what happened. Fuck these guys. And after a while, it'll come out to crypto media that, that's what happened, either through Reddit or Twitter or some shit like that. And that'll be that. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm looking at this fucking hash chart, and it goes like right up to mid-April, and then it just goes one color. And then maybe less than a week later, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 days later actually, it goes to another color. And that was because they had a major issue, and Segregated Witness did not lift off without a hitch as they had anticipated it would, and they had to do a quick patch and move on from there. But the point being that they aren't counting anybody else's work. If you're running an older version of Gridcoin on your miners, you're mining orphaned blocks right now, if you didn't already know that, which I'm sure you did. But the point being that it's this top-down attitude that's taking place in altcoins that I find very offensive. This idea that you're going to point to the rest of your community and you are going to tell them which version of the code to run on their miners. That's so far out of the realm of what's tolerable, or like what's in line with Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, that, I mean, what the fuck? Did we get exported into Treblinka overnight or something? Are we in a fucking Nazi concentration camp and now we have to bow to the Fuhrer? What the fuck? I was not notified that there is a Fuhrer to determine shit in cryptocurrencies. As far as I'm aware, this is all still a global phenomenon, and we're all participating on a voluntary basis. As long as that's true, I'm sure the majority of us will stay around, but I'm sure that Gridcoin lost a significant amount of their hashing power. Basically the people that are left are the little cheerleaders, and sycophants that, they've got a teeny tiny amount of hashing power on the fucking network, and they think they're big shit because now they represent a much bigger segment of the hashing power on the network, because most of the network just fucking pulled stakes and bailed. Anyway, we're going to learn these lessons one way or another, folks. Either by knowing that they are problems, knowing that they are issues or features within cryptocurrencies, that there is some rules despite the fact that there is no mommy and daddy to enforce them, and that it's always more profitable to just play along. In any case, let's go ahead and drop down to some music, and then we'll dip back into some articles here. And, gosh, I'm so tempted to throw that one in. First thing that came up to my mind here, at least became visible to me, was a song by Slipknot, All Hope Is Gone. But I don't think that's true, so I'm not going to play it. But what to play? That is always the question. And I did have some issues with a couple of my songs. I don't know what the deal is with it. I'll figure it out at some point. But it seems like certain songs that are formatted a certain way just don't want to play. It's like they get all kind of glitched out on me, and it's no good. Not for us. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw in something newer from Anthrax. Little Zero Tolerance here on Coin Metal.
Of humanity's far from insane. Its focus is cruel, its heartbreaking pain. As if I needed more reason to hate. A savage decision is not hard to make. Family and friends dare to threaten what's mine. Kill motherfuckers for crossing the line. Round my life and I choose murder and mayhem, 'cause I'm worse than you. learn from what's killing you. This time it's real. Beyond your will. Don't know to feel. Beyond your will.
And that was Prong with a little bit of Remove Separate Self off of Ruining Lives. You know, I gotta say, it seems like that album was like, I don't know, it seemed like either that one or Carved into Stone, one of the two. It didn't seem like Tommy had an opportunity to tour for it as thoroughly as the album actually deserved. And it's a shame. I don't know, I'm going to have to look through my CDs and see if I can find Carved into Stone. I know I've got it around here somewhere. I actually purchase a great deal of the albums that I play on here. Actually, pretty much all of them. But anyway, I was looking at these prices for Bitcoin recently, and I don't know. I can still see potential for a pretty significant dip. I'm expecting the guys to be wanting to take some significant profits soon, and when they do that, I'm expecting a significant dip. Maybe they're waiting for specific news, you know, some excuse for doing it, but I don't know. We'll find out. We always do. And so anyway, I was looking at my articles again, and just to let you know that currently the price is at 1506.77, just screaming right along. And I don't know if that's the Bitfinex price. I don't know. I've been wanting to take some time and do arbitrage with that, but honestly, I've got so much other shit going on right now, trying to get my shit in order for the summer and all that, and digging. I kind of have an aversion to digging. I don't like doing it, but you know, it's got to be done, and I'm trying to dig this time in such a way that I won't have to dig again next year, or at least the digging will be a lot less, or maybe different in some way, but it won't be the same as doing it this year. That's all I'm really going to say on that one. Any case, let's dive back into articles here. And this one, I don't even know what to make of it. It's on CoinDesk, and it's by our friend Mr. Stan Higgins. And this one was put out on the 3rd of May 2017 at approximately 2:46 BST, whatever the fuck BST is. I'd have to think about that. B Standard Time, Bitcoin Standard Time? I don't know. Any case, here it is. ECLAC, central bank digital currencies could empower dictators. A central bank issued cryptocurrency could be dangerous in the hands of a dictator, according to a recent UN report. The UN Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC, published a new report on 1st May, which explores how blockchain-based systems could help improve conditions in the region's financial system, while outlining how the tech could boost transparency and cut the cost associated with international funds transfers. The organization did include some caveats, particularly political ones. The paper explores the concept of a central bank issued digital currency, that is, one in which a central bank issues some implementation of blockchain to underlie the issuance of an electronic money distinct from the kinds they maintain today. It's an area of research being conducted by a range of central banks, including those in China, Canada, and the UK, to name a few. Yet such a project, in which an institution would have the ability to see any and all transactions within the network, ostensibly with information about who is making those payments, poses risks should a more repressive regime take control and have access to those resources. In particular, this broad control and oversight could empower a dictator to target the financial resources of their political opponents. The report notes, a CBDC would have the potential to be a very potent tool for social repression in the event that a dictator was to come to power. Under CBDC systems, this hypothetical dictator would have the ability to deny participation in the financial system to political dissidents and would also have access to a very complete picture of all entities having financial relationships with those dissidents. The report goes on to argue that this approach would be ill-advised in certain regions that lack a very strong tradition of adherence to the rule of law, but the authors go on to note that the risk would be lower if that digital currency's area of usage extended beyond the borders of a single country. The full report can be found below, and we may actually dive into that bad boy. How many pages is this thing? It doesn't look terribly long. Yeah, blockchain and butthole and bibliography. 22 pages. And a lot of spaces. We might just take this thing on next. Just to do it. Just to say we did. Yeah, I think this is a stupid concern. And it's put out by people that don't know anything about what they're talking about. Yeah. And what offends me about all of this is that there's nothing prohibiting any of these people from investigating anything about cryptocurrencies. Now, one thing, central banks. Okay, let's just take this whole thing apart. Central banks. Central banks work in collusion with one another. If one of them were to issue a digital currency, they would all be in it somehow. They would, because they're all related. They have several mutual bodies where they meet and discuss policies between one another and amongst themselves. So this concern that a central bank is going to issue a cryptocurrency and that's somehow going to be bad, I think it's really silly. I mean, I don't see it as a legitimate concern. These people have access to multiple cryptocurrencies, if not all altcoins and Bitcoin and Litecoin and all that other shit. The other 2,000 altcoins out there. And I'm sure there are probably even more than that now. But the point being that if a central bank were to issue a cryptocurrency, it would be competing amongst altcoins that were issued by 20-year-olds. People that aren't even old enough to drink legally. And that's what is really funny about all of this, is that there's actually altcoins out there that would be preferable to most people, given the choice between that and a central bank issued cryptocurrency. I mean, we're talking about the same people that have abused our trust all of this time. We're talking about the same people that necessitated the creation of Bitcoin to begin with. I mean, in a meritocracy such as a Bitcoin exchange or a cryptocurrency exchange, how do you think they're really going to fare by comparison to others? I think that people might trade their currency just to crash it, just to have fun crashing it over and over and over again. I mean, could you imagine what that would do to their internal economy? I mean, especially if they started putting a significant amount of their GDP on their quote-unquote blockchain. I mean, shit, their global economy would get fucking wrecked overnight. We'd have fun doing it, too. I was just thinking about this today. The whole idea of bringing quote unquote blockchains into governing bodies. I mean, I don't think the people considering these things really have any like don't have the full understanding of what this technology is for. Cryptocurrencies are for accountability. You know, the transparency that they talk about, it's not transparency. Transparency is it's an act of will. You know, you make things more transparent for other people to see. Cryptocurrencies aren't transparent. They're public. You know, there's a difference. You know, it's like public is a trait of it. You know, open is a trait of it. It's not a matter of choice, except for your participation in it. That's a different, but that's completely different feature. It's not when you're transacting in cryptocurrencies, you do it with the knowledge that the transactions that you make will be open on a public ledger. You know, that's the other thing that mystifies me about this whole fucking segregated witness bullshit. You know, we've already established on this show, or at least I have several times now, that segregated witness creates the very problem that it's supposed to solve. You know, at least with regard to malleation. By subsecting the transaction IDs out of the blocks, it makes it possible to malleate them without having to recreate the entire block. It eliminates the need to actually do a 51% attack where you're hashing the whole fucking block, you know, with the transaction IDs malleated. And but segregated witness takes care of that by taking the transaction IDs and putting them in a separate data compartment to be mined by a trusted third party. And we're going to find out if Bitcoin can hold out from the social pressure being put on it to switch over to this wonderbutt innovation, quote unquote, upgrade segregated witness, if it can keep that at bay for another, say, it won't take long, probably 3, maybe 4 months. We are going to see an incidence where the coins that do have it, you know, let's assume for a moment that, say, Litecoin gets it. You know, that they've already done a transaction, supposedly, was it them or Syscoin? It was Syscoin that they've done a Lightning Network transaction successfully. You know, now, it was completely pointless for them to do it because they didn't really have the transaction volume for it, but hey, what the fuck? Let's make those blocks bigger anyway. But again, I want to say 4, maybe 5 months from now. You know, if we can make it through this summer without all or a few of the question marks introduced into the system by segregated witness and Lightning Network, that we will see one of them express themselves. We will see, you know, the equivalent of the DAO hack within Lightning Network, and then I'll be vindicated. And even if it doesn't happen by then, I've given this thing 2 years, and I don't think it's going to take that long. And the reason I don't think it's going to take that long is because they're really pushing this fucking California shit license, or at least they're starting to push that again. And I've already covered how Lightning Network, being a node operator on a Lightning Network, will make you a custodian of the funds that are being transitioned on that payment channel. And if I ever do read Kashit license again, which I may, I hate to threaten you guys like that, but sometimes it's necessary to kind of get things through your dome, or get it through some other people's dome. I mean, my audience seems pretty hep to this shit, so it's not something that I know surprises many of you. But you know, this show isn't just for you. It's also for the people that haven't figured this shit out yet. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, this is something that I wanted to get into today. I noticed this yesterday, and this one is on News BTC, and this one was written 11 p.m. on April 25th. Wow. I don't know how this one got by me the first time. Anyway, here it is. California's version of BitLicense returns as legislative proposal AB 1123. They renamed it. Policymakers continue to oppose Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in certain regions of the world. California legislators have tried to introduce their version of BitLicense a while ago. Luckily, those plans were shot down relatively quickly. Not once, but twice. It appears a new proposal under the name AB 1123 has come up, with touches upon the topic once again. This bill needs to be opposed by the people once again. It was to be expected Californian policymakers would not give up on opposing Bitcoin so easily. Assemblymember Debba is a clear opponent of cryptocurrency as a whole. His new Assembly Bill 1123 aims to once again thwart Bitcoin usage in the state. A lot of the wording is a direct copy of AB 1326, which was opposed by the public twice already. It is evident the locals in California do not want a version of BitLicense, as there is no clear need for such harsh regulation. To be more specific, AB 1123 is capable of bringing the Bitcoin use to a near halt in the state. Deba's wording can be interpreted in many different ways. However, it leaves little to the imagination of how Bitcoin startups would nearly be outlawed. Moreover, businesses accepting Bitcoin would need to meet additional regulatory requirements. Donations in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies would be subject to harsh guidelines as well. AB 1123 needs to be opposed. We're definitely going to get into this fucking thing. We are definitely going to get into this one. Let's see how big this fucking thing is. 1123. It's not quite as big as Kashit License was, so that's good. But I'm gonna do something really quick here. I'm gonna do a Control F and see how many instances of money transmitter we can find in it. Ooh, there's one. Oh, just one match. Oh wow. Yeah, we're definitely going to chew into this fucking turd today. Ugh, fucking Kashit License, man. I was really hoping that they wouldn't represent this thing, but they are fucking dicks. Anyway, we'll continue to finish this article out before we get into some music, and then we will bite into Kashit License. AB 1123 needs to be opposed. It is evident AB 1123 and AB 1326 are near copies of the same proposal. Introducing regulation on the same level as BitLicense will not do anyone any favors. In fact, a lot of companies are no longer active in New York due to the bizarre regulatory requirements. The same can happen in California, assuming the bill comes to pass. It seems highly unlikely that will happen, though since California does not label Bitcoin as money right now. Okay. Politicians are still rather clueless when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. To be more specific, they simply try to oppose what they do not understand. This allowing innovation to take root in California will only have an adverse effect. It is now up to local Bitcoin enthusiasts to openly oppose this proposal. It can be done either by asking Debanebaba to withdraw the bill, although it is unlikely he will do so. Another option is through using EFF forms and contacting local legislators. The latter method successfully defeated AB 1326 in its tracks not once but twice. The governor of California can veto this bill at any time, assuming there is enough demand to do so. This is the third attempt to introduce BitLicense in California. Thrice is usually the charm, but we can hope this new bill will fall short as well. Otherwise, the Bitcoin situation in California will become very dire rather quickly. And I agree. Although I really don't expect them to be passing this fucking turd, there is the remote possibility, and so we are going to review Kashit License in its third iteration because Debanebaba needs to be exposed for the asshole that he is, that he keeps trying to push this turd down our throat. And, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and throw in some music. And then on the other side of that, we're going to be diving once again into Kashit License. Third time is the charm. Hopefully, I will be able to rile up enough bile in your gut for you to report to your governor or state legislator if you are in the state of California, and notify them that they will be harpooned by you somewhere between the door of their domicile and the door of their office. At least politically, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and throw in some 9 Inch Nails. And this one is out to Mr. Debanebaba, Mr. Self-Destruct, here on Coin Metal.
I am the hate you try to hide.
And that was Meshuggah with Combustion off of Obzin. And as warned in multiple venues, we will now be diving into the text of AB 1123, i.e. Kashit license, in its third turtlehead poking iteration. And yeah, unfortunately, somebody's got to do it. You know, I mean, I'm not seeing anybody else raising hands saying, "I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read that piece of shit fucking." Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, this is introduced by Assembly Member Debanebaba on February 17th of 2017. This is Assembly Bill 1123. AB 1123 as amended, Debanebaba, Virtual Currency Regulations. Existing law, the Money Transmission Act, prohibits a person from engaging in the business of money transmission in this state, or advertising, soliciting, or holding itself out as providing money transmission in this state, unless the person is licensed by the Commission of Business Oversight or exempt from licensure under the Act. Existing law requires applicants for licensure to pay the commissioner a specified non-refundable fee and to complete an application form requiring certain information. As security, existing laws require each licensee to deposit and maintain on deposit with the treasurer cash in the amount not less than, or securities having a market value not less than such amount as the commissioner may find and order from time to time as necessary to secure the faithful performance of the obligations of the licensee with respect to money transmission in this state. Existing law requires a licensee at all times to own eligible securities as defined in a specified aggregate amount not less than the amount of all its outstanding money received for transmission as specified. This bill would enact Virtual Currency Act. The bill would prohibit a person from engaging in any virtual currency business as defined in the state unless the person is licensed by the Commissioner of Business Oversight or is exempt from the licensure requirement as provided. The bill would require applicants for licensure, including an applicant for licensure and approval to acquire control of a license, to pay the Commissioner a specified non-refundable application fee and complete an application form required to include, among other things, information about the applicant, prior virtual currency services provided by the applicant, a sample form of receipt for transactions involving the business of virtual currency, and specified financial statements. The bill would make these licenses subject to an annual renewal and would require a renewal fee paid to the Commissioner in a specified amount. The bill would require licensees to annually pay the Commissioner a specified amount for each licensee branch office. The bill would require applicants and licensees to pay the Commissioner a specified hourly amount for the Commissioner's examination costs, as provided. The bill would also require the Commissioner to levy an assessment each fiscal year on a pro rata basis on licensees in the amount sufficient to meet the Commissioner's expenses in administering these provisions and to provide a reasonable reserve for contingencies. This bill would require each licensee to maintain at all times such capital as the Commissioner determines, subject to specified factors, is sufficient to ensure the safety and soundness of the licensee, its ongoing operations, and maintain consumer protection. The bill would require each licensee to maintain a bond or trust account in the United States dollars for the benefit of its consumers in the form and amount as specified by the Commissioner. The bill would authorize the commissioner to examine the business and any branch office of any licensee to ascertain whether the business is being conducted in a lawful manner and all virtual currency is properly accounted for. The bill would require a licensee to file a report with the commissioner within a specified period of time after the licensee knows about the occurrence of certain events relating to the virtual currency business and those persons connected to that business, and to also maintain records as required by the commissioner for a specified period of time. A non-specified period of time, but a specified period of time. Apparently the commissioner is just going to say, now. With regard to enforcement, among other things, the bill would, if it appears that a licensee is violating or failing to comply with these provisions or conducting business in an unsafe or injurious manner, authorize the commissioner to order the licensee to comply or discontinue these practices. The bill would also authorize the commissioner to issue an order suspending or revoking a license or placing a licensee in receivership if, after notice and an opportunity for a hearing, the commissioner makes a specified finding. The bill would provide that every order, decision, or other official act of the commissioner is subject to review. I would certainly hope so. The bill would authorize the commissioner to impose a civil penalty for violating these provisions. Within a specified period after the fiscal year, the bill would require a licensee to file with the commissioner a specified audit report. Within a specified period after the end of each calendar quarter, the bill would require a licensee to file with the commissioner a report containing financial statements verified by 2 of the licensee's principal officers. This bill would require a licensee to provide a specified consumer protection disclosure and receipt to its consumers. This bill would authorize a virtual currency licensee in good standing that plans to engage in activities permitted under the Money Transmission Act to request that the commissioner convert his or her license into a license under the Money Transmission Act as specified. The bill would authorize a person or entity conducting virtual currency business with less than $1 million in outstanding obligations and whose business model, as determined by the commissioner, represents low or no risk to consumers to register with a $500 license fee and, if approved, receive a provisional license to conduct virtual currency business. The bill would require a licensee under the Money Transmission Act to report to the commissioner its plan to engage in any virtual currency business and request permission to engage in that business subject to specified requirements and conditions as determined by the commissioner. The bill would make these provisions, including Virtual Currency Act, operative on July 1st, 2018. Number 2. Existing law, the General Corporation Law, prohibits a corporation, social purpose corporation, association, or individual from issuing or putting in circulation as money anything but the lawful money of the United States. This bill would delete that prohibition. Interesting. Meaning you can become indebted with your soul to the company store once again. The people of the state of California do enact as follows. Section 1, Section 107 of the Corporation Code is repealed. And 107 states, no corporation, social purpose corporation, blah, 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 shall be issued money, blah, blah, blah. SEC number 2, Section 2178 is added to the Financial Code to read 2178A. Notwithstanding any other law and consistent with subdivision E of section 26004, a licensee shall report to the commissioner its plan to engage in any virtual currency business as described in Division 11, commencing with section 26,000, and request on a form provided by the Commissioner permission to engage in any virtual I lost myself there for a moment. However, the Commissioner may require the licensee to increase its surety bond or eligible security amounts in an amount necessary to ensure the consumer protection of the additional business. The Commissioner may also place as a condition on the authorization to engage in any virtual currency business pursuant to Division 11, commencing with Section 26,000, any condition authorized by Section 2036. B. This section shall become operative on July 1st, 2018. Section 3, Division 11, commencing with Section 26,000, is added to the Financial Code to read: Division 11, Virtual Currency, Chapter 1, General Provisions. 26,000. For purposes of this division, the following definitions shall apply. A. Commissioner means the Commissioner of Business Oversight. B. Number 1. Virtual currency means any type of digital unit that is used as a medium of exchange or a form of digital stored value. Number 2. Virtual currency does not include the following. A. Digital units that are used solely within online gaming platforms with no market or application outside of those gaming platforms. B. Digital units that are used exclusively as part of a consumer affinity or rewards program. C. Digital units that can be redeemed for goods, services, or for purchases with the issuer or other designated merchants, but cannot be converted into or redeemed for fiat currency. I like that one. C. Virtual currency business means maintaining full custody or control of virtual currency in this state on behalf of others. That's a pretty narrow definition. D. Fiat currency means government-issued currency that is designated as legal tender through government decree, regulation, or law that customarily refers to paper money and coin that is circulated, used, and accepted as money. 26,001. For the purposes of carrying out the provisions of this division, the Commissioner may adopt regulations pursuant to the Administrative Procedure Act. Chapter 3.5, commencing with Section 11,340, Part 1 of Division 3 of Title 2 of the Government Code. 26,001.5. This division shall be known and may be cited as the Virtual Currency Act. Chapter 2, Licenses. 26,002. A person shall not engage in any virtual currency business in the state unless the person is licensed or exempt from licensure under this division. 26,004. The following are exempt from licensing requirement described in Section 26,002. A. The United States or a department, agency, or instrumentally thereof, including any Federal Reserve Bank and any Federal Home Loan Bank. Isn't that convenient? B. Money transmission by the United States Postal Service or by a contractor on behalf of the United States Postal Service. C. A state, city, and county, or other governmental agency or governmental subdivision of a state. D. A commercial bank or industrial bank, the deposits of which are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or its successor, or any foreign or other nation bank that is licensed under Chapter 20, commencing with Section 1750 of Division 1.1, or that is authorized under federal law to maintain a federal agency or federal branch office in this state. A trust company licensed pursuant Section 1042 or a national association authorized under federal law to engage in a trust banking business, an association or federal association as defined in Section 5102, the deposits of which are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or its successor, and any federally or state chartered credit union with an office in the state, the member accounts of which are insured or guaranteed as provided in Section 14.858. Yeah, Section 14.858. Got it. E. Subject to 2178, an entity licensed as a quote-unquote money transmitter under the Money Transmission Act described in Section 1.2, commencing with Section 2000. F. A merchant or consumer that utilizes virtual currency solely for the purchase or sale of goods or services. I like that too. G. 1. A transaction in which the recipient of virtual currency is an agent of the payee pursuant to a pre-existing written contract, and delivery of the virtual currency to the agent satisfies the payor's obligation to the payee. 2. For purposes of the subdivision, the following shall apply. A. Quote-unquote agent has the same meaning as that term is defined in Section 2295 of the Civil Code. B. Payee means the provider of goods or services who is owed payment of money or other monetary value from the payor for the goods or services. C. Payor means the recipient of goods or services who owes payment of money or monetary value to the payee for goods or services. H. A person or entity developing, distributing, or servicing a virtual currency network software. I. A person or entity contributing software connectivity or computing power to a virtual currency network. That's interesting. J. A person or entity providing data storage or cybersecurity services for a licensed virtual currency business. They wouldn't be relieved of that under regular BitLicense, and I'm pretty sure that there are licensure requirements with regard to custodians. That if you were the custodian of the funds for any duration of time, I don't know if anything in this will apply to that, but I'm pretty sure there are federal requirements if you are in fact the custodian of somebody's funds while in transit or for any duration of time or whatever. If you're holding other people's money, I'm pretty sure you need a federal license for it. We'll continue. J. A person or entity providing data storage or cybersecurity services for a licensed virtual currency business. 26,006. A. An applicant for licensure under this division shall pay to the Commissioner a non-refundable application fee of $5,000. B. An applicant for a license shall do so in a form and in a medium prescribed by the Commissioner by order or regulation. The application shall state or contain all of the following. Number 1. The legal name and residential business address of the applicant and any fictitious or trade name used by the applicant in conducting its business. 2. A list of any criminal convictions of the applicant and any material litigation in which the applicant has been involved in the 10-year period next preceding the submission of the application. Number 3. A description of any virtual currency services previously provided by the applicant and the virtual currency services that the applicant seeks to provide in this state. Number 4. A list of other states in which the applicant is licensed to engage in the business of virtual currency and any license revocations, suspensions, or other disciplinary action taken against the applicant in another state. 5. Information concerning any bankruptcy or receivership proceedings affecting the licensee. 6. A sample form of receipt for transactions that involve money received for the business of virtual currency. Number 7. The name and address of any bank through which the applicant's business will be conducted. 8. A description of the source of money and credit to be used by the applicant to provide virtual currency services. 9. The date of the applicant's incorporation or formation and the state or country of incorporation or formation. 10. A certificate of good standing from the state or country in which the applicant is incorporated or formed. 11. A description of the structure or organization of the applicant, including any parent or subsidiary of the applicant, and whether any parent or subsidiary is publicly traded. 12. The legal name, any fictitious or trade name, all business and residential addresses, and the employment in the 10-year period next preceding the submission of the application of each executive officer, manager, director, or person that has control of the applicant, and the educational background for each person. Why should that be fucking relevant? 13. A list of any criminal convictions and material litigation in which any executive officer, manager, director, or person in control of the applicant has been involved in the 10-year period next preceding the submission of the application. 14. A copy of the applicant's audited financial statements for the most recent fiscal year and, if applicable, for the 2-year period next preceding the submission of the application. 15. A copy of the applicant's unconsolidated financial statements for the current fiscal year, whether audited or not, and, if applicable, for the 2-year period next preceding the submission of this application. 16. If the applicant is publicly traded, a copy of the most recent report filed with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission under Section 13 of the Federal Securities Exchange Act of 1934, 15 U.S.C. Section 78M. 17. If the applicant is a wholly owned subsidiary of A corporation publicly traded in the United States, a copy of audited financial statements for the parent corporation for the most recent fiscal year, or a copy of the parent corporation's most recent report filed under Section 13 of the Federal Securities and Exchange Act of 1934, Section 15 U.S.C. Section 78M, and, if applicable, for the 2-year period next preceding the submission of the application. B. A corporation publicly traded outside the United States, a copy of similar documentation filed with the regulator of the parent corporation's domicile outside the United States. 18. The applicant's plan for engaging in the business of virtual currency, including without limitation 3 years of pro forma financial statements. 19. Any other information the Commissioner requires with respect to the applicant. What color is your underwear? C. The Commissioner may waive any of the information required under Subdivision B or permit any applicant to submit other information instead of the required information. By the way, I wear a 36B. D. The non-refundable application fee for filing an application for licensure and approval to acquire control of a license, or a licensee that is $3,500. An applicant for licensure and approval shall comply with Subdivision B. E. A licensee, including a licensee described in Subdivision B, shall pay annually on or before July 1st a license renewal fee of $2,500. F. A licensee shall pay annually on or before July 1st $125 for each licensee branch office in this state. G. Whenever the Commissioner examines a licensee, the licensee shall pay within 10 days after receipt of a statement from the Commissioner a fee of $75 per hour for each examiner engaged in the examination, plus, if it is necessary for any commissioner engaged in the examination to travel outside the state, the travel expenses of the examiner. H. Whenever the commissioner examines an applicant, the applicant shall pay within 10 days after receipt of a statement from the commissioner a fee of $75 per hour engaged. Yeah, we got that part. Okay. I. Each fee for filing an application shall be paid at the time the application is filed with the commissioner. No fee for filing an application shall be refundable, regardless of whether the application is approved, denied, or withdrawn. 26,008. A. Each licensee shall maintain at all times such capital as the Commissioner determines is sufficient to ensure the safety and soundness of the licensee and maintain consumer protection and its ongoing operations. In determining the minimum amount of capital that must be maintained by a licensee, the Commissioner shall consider a variety of factors, including but not limited to: number 1, the composition of the licensee's total assets, including the position, size, liquidity, risk exposure, and price volatility of each type of asset. Number 2, the composition of the licensee's total liabilities, including the size and repayment timing of each type of liability. Number 3, the actual and expected volume of the licensee's virtual currency business activity. Number 4, whether the licensee is already licensed or regulated by a state or federal entity, and whether the licensee is in good standing within each such capacity. Number 5, the amount of leverage employed by the licensee. Number 6, the liquidity position of the licensee. Number 7, the financial protection that the licensee provides for its consumers through its trust account or bond. B, each licensee shall maintain a bond or trust account in the United States dollars for the benefit of its consumers in the form and amount specified by the Commissioner. Chapter 3, Examinations and Records. 26,009. A. The Commissioner may at any time and from time to time examine the business and any branch office within or outside the state of any licensee in order to ascertain whether that business is being conducted in a lawful manner and whether all virtual currency held or exchanged is properly accounted for. B. The directors, officers, and employees of any licensee being examined by the Commissioner shall exhibit to the Commissioner on request any or all of the licensee's accounts, books, correspondence, memoranda, papers, and other records, and shall otherwise facilitate the examination so far as it may be in their power to do so. May I see a copy of your birth certificate, please? 26,010. The Commissioner may consult and cooperate with other state or federal regulators in enforcing and administering this division. They may jointly pursue examinations and take other official action that they are otherwise empowered to take. 26,011. A licensee shall file a report with the Commissioner within 5 days after the licensee has reason to know of the occurrence of any of the following events. A. The filing of a petition by or against the licensee under the United States Bankruptcy Code 11 USC SEC or sections 101 to 110 inclusive for bankruptcy or reorganization, chapter 11, I guess. B. The filing of a petition by or against the licensee for receivership the commencement of any or other judicial or administrative proceeding for its dissolution or reorganization, or the making of a general assignment for the benefit of its creditors. C. The commencement of a proceeding to revoke or suspend its virtual currency business license in a state or country in which the licensee engages in such business or is licensed to engage in such business. D. The cancellation or other impairment of the licensee's bond or trust account is required by Subdivision B of Section 26,008. E. A charge or conviction of the licensee or of an executive officer, manager, director, or person in control of the licensee for a felony. 26,012. A licensee shall maintain any records as required by the Commissioner for determining its compliance with this division for at least 3 years. And I'm going to take a minor pause there. As you can hear, I was getting a little bit raspy there, so I'm going to get a little hydration in me and take just a brief break and dive into a little bit of music. But when we come back on the other side, we're going to be diving into Chapter 4, Enforcement. And of course, I haven't actually selected any music, but we'll work through it, right? We always do. Let's go ahead and throw down some newer Megadeth in support of their newest tour for Dystopia. And let's go with the title track, Dystopia, here on Coin Metal. Yeah, every once in a while my app kind of cheeses out on me, and it did it that time too. Oh well. We can't get it always the way we want it to, but we can try. We can try. Anyway, I was just delaying the inevitable anyway. We're gonna be going back into that dreaded shit license. But we chose to do it, so we're gonna see this thing through, because we're almost there. We're almost to the promised land. We're almost to the end, I think. Well, we got a little bit of a way to go. Hopefully, we'll be able to finish up before 11 o'clock, though. So, anyway, let us continue. Chapter 4: Enforcement. 26,013. Any licensee may surrender its license by filing with the Commissioner the license and a report with any information as the Commissioner requires. The voluntary surrender of the license shall become effective at the time and upon the conditions as the Commissioner specifies by order. 26,014A. The Commissioner may prepare written decisions, opinion letters, and other formal written guidance to be issued to persons seeking clarification regarding the requirements of this division. B. The Commissioner shall make public on the Commissioner's internet website all written decisions, opinion letters, and other formal written guidance issued to persons seeking clarification regarding the requirements of this division. The Commissioner may, at his or her discretion, or upon request by an applicant or licensee, redact proprietary or other confidential information regarding an applicant or licensee from any decision, letter, or other written guidance issued in connection with an applicant or licensee. 26,015. The Commissioner may offer informal guidance to any prospective applicant for a license under this division regarding the conditions of licensure that may be applied to that person. The Commissioner shall inform any applicant that requests that guidance of the licensing requirements that will be required of that applicant based on the information provided by the applicant concerning its plan to conduct business under this division and the factors used to make that determination. 26,016. At any time, if the Commissioner deems it necessary for the general welfare of the public, he or she may exercise any power set forth in this division with respect to a virtual currency business, regardless of whether an application for a license has been filed with the Commissioner, a license has been issued, or, if issued, the license has been surrendered, suspended, or revoked. A. If it appears to the Commissioner that a licensee is violating or failing to comply with this division, the Commissioner may direct the licensee to comply with the law by an order issued under the Commissioner's official seal, or if it appears to the Commissioner that any licensee is conducting its business in an unsafe or injurious manner, the Commissioner may, in like manner, direct it to discontinue the unsafe or injurious practices. The order shall require the licensee to show cause before the Commissioner at a time and place to be fixed by the Commissioner as to why the order should not be observed. Fuck you, because my mom said so. B. If upon any hearing held pursuant to subdivision A, the Commissioner finds that the licensee is violating or failing to comply with any law of this state, or it's conducting its business in an unsafe or injurious manner, the Commissioner may make a final order directing it to comply with the law or to discontinue the unsafe or injurious practices. A licensee shall comply with the final order unless within 10 days after the issuance of the order, its enforcement is restrained in a proceeding brought by the licensee. 26,017. A. The Commissioner may issue an order suspending or revoking a license or taking possession of and placing a licensee in receivership if after notice and an opportunity for hearing the Commissioner finds any of the following. Number 1, the licensee is violating this division or a regulation adopted or an order issued under this division or a condition of approval issued under this division. Number 2, the licensee does not cooperate with an examination or investigation by the Commissioner. Number 3, the licensee engages in fraud, intentional misrepresentation, or gross negligence. Number 4, the competence, experience, character, or general fitness of the licensee or any director, officer, employee, or person in control of a licensee indicates that it is not in the public interest to permit the person to provide virtual currency services. Number 5, the licensee engages in an unsafe or unsound practice. Number 6, the licensee is insolvent, suspend payments of its obligations, or makes a general assignment for the benefit of its creditors. Number 7, the licensee has applied for an application of or an adjudication of bankruptcy, reorganization, arrangement, or other relief under any bankruptcy, reorganization, insolvency, or moratorium law, or any person has applied for any such relief under that law against the licensee, and the licensee has, by any affirmative act, approved of or consented to the action, or the relief has been granted. 8. Any fact or condition exists that, if it had existed at the time when the licensee applied for its license, would have been grounds for denying the application. B. In determining whether a licensee is engaging in an unsafe or unsound practice, the Commissioner may consider the size and condition of the licensee's provision of virtual currency services, the magnitude of the loss, the gravity of the violation of this division, and the previous conduct of the person involved. 26,018. A. Every order, decision, or other official act of the Commissioner is subject to review in accordance with the law. B. Whenever the Commissioner has taken possession of the property and business of any licensee, the licensee within 10 days after that taking, if it deems itself aggrieved, thereby may apply to the Superior Court in the county in which the head office of the licensee is located to enjoin further proceedings. The court, after citing the Commissioner to show cause why further proceedings should not be enjoined, and after a hearing and a determination of the facts upon the merits, may dismiss the application or enjoin the Commissioner from further proceedings, and direct the Commissioner to surrender the property and business to the licensee. 26,019. A. If the Commissioner finds that any of the factors set forth in Section 26,017 is true with respect to any licensee and that it is necessary for the protection of the public interest, the Commissioner may issue an order immediately suspending or revoking the licensee's license. B. Within 30 days after the license is suspended or revoked, pursuant to Subdivision A, the licensee may file with the Commissioner an application for a hearing on the suspension or revocation. C. If the Commissioner fails to commence a hearing within 15 business days after the application is filed with the Commissioner, pursuant to Subdivision B, or within a longer period of time agreed to by the licensee, the suspension or revocation shall be deemed rescinded. D. Within 30 days after the hearing, the Commissioner shall affirm, modify, or rescind the suspension or revocation. Otherwise, the suspension or revocation shall be deemed rescinded. E. The right of the licensee to petition for judicial review of the suspension or revocation shall not be affected by the failure of the licensee to apply to the Commissioner for a hearing on the suspension or revocation pursuant to Subdivision B. 26,020. The Commissioner may assess a civil penalty against a person that violates this division or a regulation adopted or an order issued under this division in an amount not to exceed $1,000 for each violation, or in the case of a continuing violation, $1,000 for each day or part thereof during which the violation continues, plus this state's cost and expenses for the investigation and prosecution of the matter, including reasonable attorney fees. 26,022. The enforcement provisions of this division are in addition to any other enforcement powers that the Commissioner may have under law. 26,023A. The Commissioner may, by order or regulation, grant exemptions from this section in cases where the Commissioner finds that the requirements of this section are not necessary or may be duplicative. B. A licensee shall, within 90 days after the end of each fiscal year or within any extended time as the Commissioner may prescribe, file with the Commissioner an audit report for the fiscal year that shall comply with all of the following provisions. Number 1. The audit report shall contain audited financial statements of the licensee for or as of the end of the fiscal year, prepared in accordance with United States generally accepted accounting principles and any information as the Commissioner may require. Number 2. The audit report shall be based upon an audit of the licensee conducted in accordance with United States generally accepted auditing standards and any other requirements as the Commissioner may prescribe. Number 3. The audit report shall be prepared by an independent certified public accountant or independent public accountant who is not unsatisfactory to the Commissioner. I don't like her, she's blonde. Number 4. The audit report shall include or be accompanied by a certificate of opinion of the independent certified public accountant or independent public accountant that is satisfactory in form and content to the Commissioner. If the certificate or opinion is qualified, the Commissioner may order the licensee to take any action as the Commissioner may find necessary to enable the independent or certified public accountant or independent public accountant to remove the qualification. C. Each licensee shall, not more than 45 days after the end of each calendar year quarter or within a longer period as the Commissioner may by regulation or order specify, file with the Commissioner a report containing all of the following. Number 1. Financial statements, including balance sheet, income statement, statement of changes in shareholders' equity, and statement of cash flows for or as of the end of that calendar year quarter, verified by 2 of the licensee's principal officers. The verification shall state that each of the officers making the verification has a personal knowledge of the matters in the report and that each of them believes that each statement in the report is true. Number 2. Other information as the Commissioner may by regulation or order require. Have you had sex within the last 48 hours? 26,024. In addition to the fees provided in Section 26,006, the Commissioner shall levy an assessment each fiscal year on a pro rata basis on those licensees that at any time during the preceding calendar year engaged in the state in the virtual currency business in an amount that is, in his or her judgment, sufficient to meet the Commissioner's expenses in administering the provisions of this division and to provide a reasonable reserve for contingencies. Chapter 5. Miscellaneous provisions. And oh my God, we're coming to the end of it. Thank goodness. 26,025. A licensee shall disclose to consumers the following disclosure in a form and manner prescribed by the Commissioner. Once submitted to the network, a virtual currency transaction will be unconfirmed for a period of time, usually less than 1 hour, but up to 1 day or more. Pending sufficient confirmation of the transaction by the network, a transaction is not complete while it is in a pending state. Virtual currency associated with transactions that are in a pending state will be designated accordingly and will not be included in your account balance or be available to conduct transactions. The risk of loss in trading or holding virtual currency can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether trading or holding virtual currency is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. In considering whether to trade or hold virtual currency, you should be aware that the price or value of virtual currency can change rapidly, decrease, and potentially even fall to zero. Insert company name is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight to do business in California. If you have complaints with respect to any aspect of the virtual currency business conducted by company name, you may contact the California Department of Business Oversight and at its toll-free telephone number 1-800-622-0620 or by email at consumer.services@dbo.ca.gov or by mail at the Department of Business Oversight, Consumer Services, 1515 K Street, Suite 200, Sacramento, California, 95814. 26,026. A. Upon completion of a transaction subject to this division, the licensee shall provide to the consumer a receipt containing the following information. Number 1. The name and contact information of the licensee, including a telephone number of the licensee where consumers can contact the licensee for questions or go to or to register complaints. Number 2. The type, value, date, and time of the transaction. Number 3, the type and amount of any fees charged. Number 4, the exchange rate, if applicable. Number 5, a statement of the refund policy of the licensee. Number 6, additional information the Commissioner may require. The receipt, B, the receipt required by this section shall be made in English and in the language principally used by that licensee to advertise, solicit, or negotiate either orally or in writing if other than English. C. The recipient required by this section, the receipt required by this section may be provided electronically for transactions that are initiated electronically or in which a consumer agrees to receive an electronic receipt. 26,029. The Commissioner may, by regulation or order, either unconditionally or upon specified terms and conditions, or for specified periods, exempt from all or part of this division any person or transaction or class of persons or transactions, if the Commissioner finds such action to be in the public interest and that the regulation of such persons or transactions is not necessary for the purposes of this division. The Commissioner shall post on the Commissioner's Internet website a list of all persons, transactions, or classes of persons or transactions exempt pursuant to this section and the provisions of this division from which they are exempt. 26,031. Notwithstanding any other law, a licensee in good standing under this division that plans to engage in activities permitted under the Money Transmission Act, Division 1.2, commencing with Section 2000, may request from the Commissioner in a form specified by the Commissioner to convert their license into a license under Division 1.2, commencing with Section 2000. A licensee's request to convert its license shall be accompanied by documentation or other evidence as determined by the Commissioner that the licensee meets the requirements for licensure under Division 1.2, commencing with Section 2000. If a licensee's request for a converted license is granted, the licensee shall be subject to Section 2178 in order thereafter to engage in any virtual currency business. 26,032. A person or entity conducting virtual currency business with less than $1 million in outstanding obligation and whose business model, as determined by the Commissioner, represents low or no risk to consumers, may register with a $500 license fee with the Commissioner and, if approved, receive a provisional license to conduct virtual currency business. A person or entity that receives such a license shall also register with FinCEN as a money services business if applicable. B. In determining whether to issue a provisional license, the Commissioner shall consider a variety of factors, including, but not limited to, 1. The nature and scope of the applicant's business. 2. The anticipated volume of business to be transacted by the applicant in California. 3. The nature and scope of the risks that the applicant's business represents to consumers. 4. The measures which the applicant has taken to limit or mitigate the risks to its business presents. 5. Whether the applicant is regulated or otherwise authorized by another government entity to engage in financial services or other business activities. C. The Commissioner may require a provisional license to certify adherence to certain risk-based performance standards related to safety, soundness, and consumer protection as prescribed by the Commissioner. D. Based upon the factors identified in Subdivision B and the provisional licensee's history as a holder of a provisional license, the Commissioner may at any time renew such license for an additional length of time or remove the provisional status from the license if the licensee meets all requirements of this division. Unless the Commissioner otherwise removes the provisional status or renews such license, a provisional license shall expire 2 years after the date of issuance. If the Commissioner renews a provisional license, the licensee shall pay a $500 renewal fee. E. The Commissioner may request reports and documents and may audit the provisional licensee as needed to further consumer protection and enhance safety and soundness. F. A provisional licensee shall notify the Commissioner within 15 days of surpassing the threshold in Division A, and shall, within 30 days from that notice, apply for a license pursuant to Chapter 2, commencing with Section 26,002. G. A provisional license may be suspended or revoked pursuant to Section 26,017, Chapter 6, Operative Date. 26,040. This division shall become operative on July 1st, 2018. That's the third time I've read through this shit. And gotta tell you, I'm not impressed. Capricious and arbitrary. The both words equally apply to this fucking turd ball. I'm really, really glad, though, that I was able to finish reading it in time for possibly one additional article or, something else. Because let me tell you, man, that thing was a pain in the butt. But, California, I gotta tell you, I really, 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 really hope that they reject that thing again. This is actually the second iteration, but third presentation of the same legislation. And the previous 2 times it was shot down, but I don't know. I think they're getting desperate. The fact that they keep representing it every time that it starts looking like this whole SegWit business is going to go through. That's why I really think that the two are intrinsically related. That SegWit will alter Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that abide by it to operate in certain ways that if you're doing certain things on the network, you will be falling under licensure requirements under that California shit license and also bit license in New York. I keep saying it. They're ahead of you, kid. Get over this idea that you're going to get hyper rich on Lightning node payment or transaction fees. You're not. You're not going to. We have yet to see the migration to SegWit result in anything other than a little blip in price. I mean, we're seeing a big blip in Litecoin, but I think it's pro tem. I think they're going, if they actually do get segregated witness fully implemented, that you're going to see a precipitous tank after that. I don't know. I'm highly suspect of the whole business, and I think that the fact that California is still trying to do some sort of regulation, or at least DEPA is trying to. I think that's very dismaying. I really hope that the California state legislature has enough on the ball to roundly defeat it this time around yet again. It's like they're in so much trouble there in California with regard to their economy. They're very dependent on their immigrant slaves. That's what I call them. I mean, I worked in California, okay, and I didn't work in an office or anything like that. I worked with a lot of Mexican immigrants, and they're by and large, they're decent people, just like you and me, But there's always one or two that are just like assholes. They don't speak English in front of you. They like talk shit to you or talk shit about you behind your back in another language. And if you happen to know Spanish, you can understand what the fuck they're saying to you or saying about you. And it's something that I dealt with a lot. And I don't know if that was just my experience as an American male or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to say that that's the experience of everybody, because that's just disingenuous. But it was my experience, and I didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, it felt a lot like when I was in high school and junior high when, you'd have the public consensus turn against you for some reason. You were in, and then all of a sudden you did something stupid and you were out, and everybody's like talking shit about you and shit like that. I dealt with that a lot in high school, and it doesn't feel any better as an adult. But it's caused a lot of imbalances in their state economy. Having all that cheap labor and whatnot, and personally, I think it's really unfortunate. I think the whole like migratory process from below or north of the border, from fucking wherever, I don't care where you're coming from. If you're coming here to work or whatever, that's fine. Just understand we've got laws, and to what extent we actually enforce them, you're gonna have to comply with them too. Sorry, you're in our house. That's how it works. Personally, I would like to see the whole immigration thing just like completely scrapped, and that if you want to move here and you want to contribute to society and whatnot, fuck yeah, come on. You want to come here and just work, I don't care. But you're going to get paid the same rate that I am. And it's going to be taken into account, of course, that you're from another country. So I may have precedence over you if I actually have the same qualifications as you for a prospective employer. But that'll again be contingent upon the employer's decision as to whether or not they want to hire you or me. And personally, I am perfectly comfortable with that. You know, I will put my work up against anybody, American or otherwise, and I don't care. You know, I know that some people are very insecure when they have to operate on a fully level playing field, but I'm not one of those people. So, you know, buck up your game. But I don't know. Trump has presented a lot of question marks for people, especially with regard to his stance on immigration. He's backpedaled on pretty much everything else, so I don't expect that immigration will be any different. You know, I will see articles about, oh, the wall is under construction. I could give a fuck. Okay? I could really give a fuck. I would much rather have people come through and be able to legally work instead of, you know, ferreting around the edges and shit and getting paid under the table and whatnot. I mean, although I'm not opposed to people being paid under the table either. I think that's a perfectly legitimate exercise as well. As long as it's agreed upon by both of the individuals involved in the business transaction, who really gives a fuck, you know? As long as the person is doing the work and the employer is paying on time and providing a decently, you know, secure place to work, what's the problem, you know? And in the event that there's an accident or something like that, the employer should be equally liable no matter where the fuck you're from. I don't care if you're from China. I don't care if you're from Pasadena. I don't care if you're from fucking Zimbabwe. Okay, you should be getting the same treatment no matter what. And I really think that if we were to take those premiums of citizenship and whatnot off of consideration with regard to whether or not you can work here, I think that we would see a lot less abuse of the system. You know, much like we've seen a similar effect with regard to cannabis legalization, that we're seeing lower issues of violence and whatnot, as indicated previously on this show today. But you know, during the whole run up to legalization, these were the boogeymen that we were forced to deal with. You know, just a bunch of unfounded bullshit that had never been observed in any other place where drug laws have been liberalized and or substances were just completely decriminalized. You know, things like rates of addiction and that whole gateway drug effect and whatnot. They failed to materialize as we'd been told so many years by the federal government that they would. And so I've got to really wonder if the same specters that are put on the idea of opening up the borders to just whoever wants to come in and work and be an American, I've got to wonder if a lot of the stuff that we've been told about, you know, they're going to overrun us, they're going to fuck us over, whatever. You know, I'm not saying let them vote in our elections. I'm saying let them come here and work and be treated like normal fucking human beings. You know, no more sweatshop bullshit. No more 50 cents an hour bullshit. You know? Like, you want to employ Mexicans? I don't give a rat's ass, but you're going to pay those people the prevailing wage for the job you're asking them to do. There you go. Now, where's the incentive to get a whole bunch of H-1B visa people in? If you can hire somebody who's from America, probably within a 50-mile radius of your facility, with the equal qualifications of somebody from India, if you have to pay that person from India the same amount that you have to pay that person from Pasadena, what's the motivation for bringing them over? That's how that business works. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and close out this episode. We got about 5 minutes left. Just enough time for a good final dance for the evening. And of course, I haven't actually picked anything out yet, so I'm never in a real big hurry to leave, But I know I've got to have something good for about 5 minutes. And what could it be? What could it be? What could it be? And we might cut it just a teeny tiny short. I don't know. Every time I come up to the end like this, why not? I played something from this album earlier today, but we can do whatever we want as far as playing music on this. We don't get money for doing this, so what the hell, right? Anyway, our last dance for the evening will be off of Ruining Lives, Absence of Light by Prong. And so we will be back again on Friday. Hopefully we will have a guest on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on vergecurrency.com/radio. And so until then, I want you guys to trade safe, especially right now. Do your homework. And watch out for your bunghole, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Thank you very much for listening, and y'all have an excellent evening.
Light.